Now, I remember as I was growing up, I always thought that a YouTuber or any type of content creator's job was a piece of cake. I mean, all I thought it was that you just flick on a camera and you simply upload videos. But it wasn't until recently where I decided to really dive deep into the realm of content creation that I realised how tough it actually is. An average person doesn't realise how much time and effort goes into producing videos, and it really grinds your gears when you put so much time and effort into videos for it to only get 50 views. But as an entrepreneur nowadays, it's more or less mandatory for you and your company to be producing high quality content. So in essence, in today's landscape, every entrepreneur essentially is a content creator, as that's the meat of your marketing for your business. So I thought it would be great to take a deep dive into what makes a good content creator and what we can learn to help us create high quality content. And one of the content creators that I'm going to be focusing on is one of my personal favorite creators on the whole of YouTube, Matt D'Avella, the minimalist YouTuber that is happening to take over YouTube by storm. I mean, his community and growth on YouTube is by far one of the strongest we've seen in recent years. So clearly there is a lot of things that we can take away from Matt. And for those of you who don't know, this is an entrepreneurship channel. The things that I cover are in relevance to how us entrepreneurs can use certain character traits to implement into our lives, our businesses, and in ourselves. And to do this, I'll be using Robert Greene's works as reference of power, war, and mastery. Now, when it comes to Matt as being a content creator, there is a ton of aspects we can talk about what makes him an amazing content creator. I mean, we can talk about his videography, his sense of humor, his killer biceps, but what I wanted to do is dive into something a bit more deeper than all of this. Something a lot more thought-provoking from all the stuff that we can just see on the surface. So how can we think like Matt D'Avella? How can we aim for our content to be on a world-class level? And the surprising answer to that is to use the 46th law of power. Never appear too perfect. Appearing better than others is always dangerous. But most dangerous of all is to appear to have no faults and weaknesses whatsoever. Envy creates silent enemies. And it is smart to occasionally display defects and admit to harmless vices in order to deflect envy and appear more human and approachable. Only gods and the dead can seem perfect with impurity. And this is what I feel makes Matt D'Avella stand out so much in the realm of content creation. Ever since the birth of social media, we humans have unlocked a whole new world within our own world. Social media has given us the ability to put ourselves out there and connect with people in a way that has never been possible before. But as much as it has benefited our lives, it undoubtedly has also been to our detriment. We are living in an age of social media where all it seems is that everyone is living the perfect life. It seems that everyone has their life together. I mean, your old school friend just got back from traveling Asia for the past 6 months. Your closest mate is getting all prepared for his wedding with his partner of 7 years. The celebrity you follow just went and bought a brand new Lamborghini. And with all this going on, it sometimes can seem that everyone else around us has quote unquote made it. So it doesn't seem to make sense for us to some days have feelings of depression, right? I mean, to have them days where we feel like we're just losing passion for our work, where it just seems that we are just working non-stop towards a dead end, while everyone else is out there living their dream life. And as we scroll through our social media feeds, all we seem to be flooded by is how everyone else seems to be living a richer, happier, and much more better life than ours. Until we are scrolling through YouTube and we stumble onto a Matt D'Avella video. A video titled, I Have Anxiety. Hang on, wait. Did that just say, I have anxiety? No. This can't be possible. People nowadays don't have anxiety. People are too busy deep sea ice fishing to be worrying about stupid things like anxiety. Nah, it must just be a clickbait title. I mean, he's a YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers. How the hell does he have anxiety? No, this must just be a video about how he must have had anxiety years ago, and he's telling us his perfect life story of how he is now a god and he has the ability to deflect the anxiety off his huge biceps. So we click onto the video to see what Matt's trick is here. What is he really up to? Is it a clickbait title? Is it a hero's journey video? Is it him just going to be gloating of how perfect he is? No. The video is actually nothing like that at all. The video is actually about Matt having and dealing with anxiety. He opens up and mentions that he really feels like he is dealing with a lot of pressure, and he is feeling the sense of losing a bit of control over his life. He goes on to talk about how at first he thought these emotions of feeling overwhelmed were due to him moving to a new apartment, but even after he fully got settled in, these anxious emotions were still lurking at full capacity. The video then goes on to talk about how he's trying to implement some things such as meditation and working out to help deal with the current anxiety he is facing, to help him on his journey to conquer it. And we finish watching this video with our minds blown. Did we just witness an influencer actually admitting to something going wrong in their lives? Did we just connect with Matt D'Avella on a personal level? Hang on, wait. Is Matt D'Avella actually human? About 2 months later, he came back with a video titled 21 Steps to Overcome Anxiety, which he talks about his journey of how he dealt with it and the things he implemented into his life to help him overcome these dark emotions he was facing. Now, anxiety is one of those things that I've struggled with badly in the past, where on a few occasions I've actually worked myself up so badly that I've ended up having full-blown panic attacks, and before I knew it, I'd be laying down in an ambulance once again thinking I was going to die. So for me to see this type of video from one of my most favourite content creators online was actually quite touching and moving. And as I scrolled down through the comments, I started to see many other people open up and talk about their anxiety issues, which led me to the most groundbreaking psychological phenomenon that I have ever heard in my life. That Matt D'Avella is not perfect, and so aren't millions of other people. Contrary to the perfect pictures we see on Instagram, the beautiful travel vlogs we see on YouTube, and the fake happy lifestyles that millions of people on social media portray, us human beings go through a lot of shit on a day-to-day basis. But the thing is, that is what makes us human. And that's what makes up the reality for the majority of people in the world. People don't live perfect lives. The daily struggles that we seem to face all by ourselves are actually very similar issues to what a lot of other people go through. And what happens is when people go through similar stuff together, they all of a sudden connect and form a community. Now, if you follow any of Matt's content, then you certainly know that his community is one of the strongest out there on YouTube. And yes, of course, a lot of it comes down to his absolutely gorgeous filmmaking skills, his very witty sense of humour, and his consistent evolution of higher quality content over the years. But the biggest thing why I feel that he has some of the strongest followers and community members out there is not because of his huge biceps, but it's because he never seems to appear too perfect. When it comes to a lot of influencers' content right now, they pride themselves with an air of superiority, with typical stances such as, I'm richer than you, I'm prettier than you, and overall, my life shits on yours. And that's fine, I'm not slagging it off. Every influencer has their own strategy to connect with their audience. But the thing that I feel with their content is that it just feels like they've always just come from a sense of looking and talking down onto people, making their followers and subscribers feel inferior to them all the time, which essentially is just a marketing strategy to play on people's emotions to get people to just buy their products and services, which of course is what is working right now, even with people that are faking the whole thing, as otherwise these top influencers wouldn't be using these strategies. But the question that I would like to ask is, how long is this really going to last? Personally, I feel like below the surface of social media right now, a movement is brewing. A movement of people that are starting to move away from these non-authentic, egocentric influencers and moving towards more people like Matt D'Avella. Towards people that base their content around authenticity and transparency, not superiority and perfection. I feel like people are finally starting to understand that no, life is not what you post on Instagram. Life is what you are living right now in the real world. And it's okay to go through shit. It's okay to go through hardships and turmoils. Don't be afraid of that. It's not something to be ashamed of. The sooner you face and confront it, the sooner you can develop and create a strategy to overcome it. And that's partly why I feel Matt D'Avella is absolutely killing YouTube right now. He doesn't come across as a guy who speaks down onto his followers or prides himself in being better than everyone else. He doesn't portray the typical flashy influencer lifestyle. He just comes across as a genuine, authentic guy that isn't afraid to break the stigma around influencers and social media, that you have to be perfect. The strange idea that you can't show any insecurity or vulnerability at all, and that you have to portray yourself as being this perfect human being. This is what Gary Vaynerchuk famously always preaches, to document and not create. All of Matt's videos feel like he's just having a conversation with us as a mate, not from him sitting on this high pedestal. He is more than open and transparent with his journey, and is not afraid to show that he isn't this perfect human being. Another example is his waking up at 5 AM challenge. Now, it's common knowledge and conventional wisdom is that the perfect alpha male always wakes up early and never sleeps until late. But as Matt goes through this challenge, he realizes that for him, it's not actually the best routine. And for his lifestyle and the way he works, he finds it better for him to wake up slightly later than 5 AM. Again, going against the conventional perfect person persona. And this is my message to all entrepreneurs, content creators and influencers out there. One of the greatest things that you can build for yourself right now, no matter what it is you do, is a following and a community. But you won't be able to do this when you are just paralyzed by wanting to be perfect all the time. This fear of having to be or trying to look perfect is practically a lie and exhausting, and maybe one of the reasons why you are not producing any content or you haven't started that business. You may feel that you can't produce any relevant content because you haven't got that Lamborghini, because you haven't quote unquote made it in life yet, or you haven't got the best camera gear. Trust me, go back to my first ever video I made on this channel. You'll probably be in stitches laughing about it. You may fear that talking about how you feel instead of how you should feel may turn people away against you. And you may think people may see you as being weak, but in reality, this will only deepen your connection with your audience, because you are communicating one core thing. You are a human being, exactly like they are. So document your life. Don't create a fake new one. No matter how much followers you have, or no matter how much subscribers you have, you as a human being will still go through the same shit that everyone else goes through. So don't be afraid to put that message out with your audience. And with the world going the way it is, people now are craving authenticity, not fake counterfeit lifestyles. Now, I'm not saying to cry in every single bloody video. You still need to offer some type of value for someone to watch your content. But what I'm saying is, every now and again, don't be afraid to show your human side and talk about what you're currently going through. You don't always have to portray this picture perfect lifestyle. Building a community is all about connection. And how can you form connections with people if you're just trying to portray this perfect person persona? As an entrepreneur, you don't just want to create simple subscribers and followers. What you want to create is a community of super fans. Don't look at each follower and subscriber as just a number or an analytic. Look at them for what they actually are, a living human being that most likely are going through very similar things that you're going through. So use that to connect and dive deep with your audience. That's exactly what Matt D'Avella did with me when he touched on the topic of anxiety. Anxiety is a very personal issue for me, and I really resonated with that video very powerfully, which is one of the reasons why I went on to becoming part of his Patreon account, as I really felt integrated into his community after watching the video. And that is how to think like Matt D'Avella. And that is how you can start building and creating your own community and brand. Remember, the key to creating good content is to just document your life. Don't create a fake one. Don't worry about being perfect. You're not, and you never will be, but that's what makes you human, and that's what allows you to form a deeper connection with your audience. I mean, take a look back on my first video that I made about 2 years ago on this channel. At the time, I thought I was making something groundbreaking, but now I look back, I think, wow, it's actually a bit embarrassing. But the reason I keep it there is to look back and think times were a lot different then, and the way I went about producing content was different, and only over time have I evolved and changed. But I look back at that video and think, at least that was where I started. I look back and think that is the start of my journey, and at least I went out there and started something. And that is what my message is to you today. Stop worrying about being perfect. Just go and do it. So if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment below on what are your thoughts from this character breakdown, and let me know who you would like to see broken down next. And if you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel, and to all our loyal subscribers, we are glad you are here. We do some of the best character breakdowns on the whole of YouTube, and we aim to produce at least one high quality animated video per week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any golden knowledge. I'll see you soon.